Item 251. Reworking base courses. 1. Description. Refinish or rework existing base material with or without asphaltic concrete pavement. Incorporate new base material when shown on the plans. 2. Materials. Furnish uncontaminated materials of uniform quality that meet the requirements of the plans and specifications. Notify the engineer of the proposed material sources and of changes to material sources. The engineer will verify that the specification requirements are met before the sources can be used. The engineer may sample and test project materials at any time before compaction. Use TEX 100E for material definitions. 2.1 Flexible base. Furnish new base material that meets the requirements of Item 247, flexible base, for the type and grade shown on the plans. 2.2 Water. Furnish water free of industrial wastes and other objectionable matter. 3. Equipment. Provide machinery, tools, and equipment necessary for proper execution of the work. 3.1 Compaction equipment. Provide rollers in accordance with Item 210, rolling. Provide rollers in accordance with Item 216, proof rolling, when required. 3.2 Pulverization equipment. Provide pulverization equipment that cuts and pulverizes material uniformly to the proper depth with cutters that plane to a uniform surface over the entire width of the cut. Provides a visible indication of the depth of cut at all times, and uniformly mixes the materials. 4. Construction. Perform work to the width and depth shown on the typical sections for the type of work shown on the plans. Construct and shape exposed subgrade to conform to typical sections as shown on the plans or as directed. Proof roll in accordance with Item 216, proof rolling, when shown on the plans. Correct soft spots as directed. Before scarifiing, clean the existing base of objectionable materials by belading, brooming, or other approved methods, unless otherwise shown on the plans. Perform this work in accordance with applicable items. 4.1 Types of work. 4.1.1 Type A Scarifiing only. 4.1.2 Type B Scarifiing, salvaging, and relaying. 4.1.3 Type C Scarifiing and reshaping. 4.1.4 Type D Refinishing. 4.2 Performance of work. 4.2.1 Scarifiing. Loosen and break existing base material, with or without existing asphaltic concrete pavement. Remove asphalt concrete pavement, surface treatment, plant mix seal, and microsurfacing when shown on the plans and in accordance with applicable items. Prevent contamination of asphalt material during and after removal. When the existing pavement consists of only a surface treatment, do not remove before scarifiing. Scarify existing material for its full width and depth unless otherwise shown on the plans. Do not disturb the underlying subgrade. Break material into particles of not more than 2.5 inches unless otherwise shown on the plans. 4.2.2 Salvaging. Remove the existing base material and stockpile. Windrow if allowed. Perform salvage operations without interfering with traffic, proper drainage, or the general requirements of the work. Remove scarified material using a method approved by the engineer. Keep material free of contamination. 4.2.3 Relaying. Prepare subgrade as shown on the plans or as directed before relaying salvaged material. Proof roll in accordance with Item 216, proof rolling, when shown on the plans. Correct soft spots as directed. Return and rework salvaged base material, with or without additional new base material, on the prepared roadbed. Place salvaged material on the prepared subgrade and sprinkle, blade, and shape the base to conform to the typical sections shown on the plans or as directed. Place new base material and uniformly mix with salvaged material when shown on the plans. Correct or remove and replace segregated material with satisfactory material, as directed. 4.2.4 Reshaping. Rework scarified base material with or without additional new base material. Mix and shape scarified base to conform to the typical sections shown on the plans. When shown on the plans, furnish new base material, and uniformly mix with scarified material before shaping. Do not disturb the underlying subgrade. Correct, or remove, and replace, segregated material with satisfactory material as directed. 4.2.5 Refinishing. Blade existing base surface to remove irregularities. Cure before placing the pavement on the refinished base, as shown on the plans or as directed. 4.3 Compaction. Compact using ordinary compaction or density control as shown on the plans. Bring each layer to the moisture content directed. When necessary, sprinkle the material in accordance with item 204, sprinkling. Begin rolling longitudinally at the sides and proceed toward the center, overlapping on successive trips by at least 1/2 the width of the roller unit. On super elevated curves, begin rolling at the low side and progress toward the high side. Offset alternate trips of the roller. Operate rollers at a speed between 2 and 6 miles per hour, as directed. Rework, reco-impact, and refinish material that fails to meet or that loses required moisture, density, stability, or finish before the next course is placed or the project is accepted. Continue work until specification requirements are met. Perform the work at no additional expense to the department. 4.3.1 Ordinary compaction. Roll with approved compaction equipment as directed. Correct irregularities, depressions, and weak spots immediately by scarifying the areas affected, adding or removing approved material as required, reshaping, and reco-impacting. 4.3.2 Density control. Determine the moisture content in the mixture at the beginning of and during compaction in accordance with TEX 103E. Compact to at least 98% of the maximum density determined by TEX 113E, unless otherwise shown on the plans. The engineer will determine roadway density of completed sections in accordance with TEX 115E. The engineer may accept the section if no more than one of the 5 most recent density tests is below the specified density and the failing test is no more than 3 PCF below the specified density. 4.4 Finishing. Immediately after completing compaction, clip, skin, or tight blade the surface with a maintainer or subgrade trimmer to a depth of approximately 1/4 inches. Remove and dispose of loosened material at an approved location. Seal the clipped surface immediately by rolling with a pneumatic tire roller until a smooth surface is attained. Add small amounts of water as needed during rolling. Shape and maintain the course and surface in conformity with the typical sections, lines, and grades shown on the plans or as directed. In areas where surfacing is to be placed, correct grade deviations in excess of 1/4 inches in 16 feet measured longitudinally for the entire width of the cross section. Correct by loosening, adding, or removing material. Reshape and reco-impact in accordance with section 251.4.3, compaction. 4.5 Curing. Cure the finished section until the moisture content is at least 2% below optimum or as directed before applying the next successive course or prime coat. 5 Measurement. This item will be measured by the station, square yard, cubic yard, or ton. Square yard and cubic yard in original position measurement will be established by the widths and depths shown on the plans and the lengths measured in the field. When material is measured in trucks, the weight of the material will be determined on certified scales, or the contractor must provide a set of standard platform truck scales at a location approved by the engineer. Scales must conform to the requirements of item 520, weighing and measuring equipment. Measurement is further defined for payment as follows. 5.1 Station. By the 100 feet station measured along the center line of each roadbed. 5.2 Square yard. By the square yard of existing base or pavement in its original position. When square yard measurement is used, limits of measurement will be as shown on the plans. 5.3 Cubic yard in vehicle. By the cubic yard of salvaged material in vehicles as delivered at the stockpile. 5.4 cubic yard in stockpile. By the cubic yard of salvaged material in the final stockpile position by the method of average end areas. 5.5 cubic yard in original position. By the cubic yard in its original position measured by the method of average end areas. 5.6 ton. By the ton of dry weight in the trucks as delivered at the stockpile. The dry weight is determined by deducting the weight of the moisture in the material at the time of weighing from the gross weight of the material. The engineer will determine the moisture content in the material in accordance with TEX 103E from samples taken at the time of truck weighing. 6. Payment. The work performed and materials furnished in accordance with this item and measured as provided under measurement will be paid for at the unit price bid for reworking base material for the type, scarified depth, and compaction method shown on the plans. For cubic yard measurements, the measurement location, vehicle, stockpile, or original position, will be specified. No additional payment will be made for thickness or width exceeding that shown on the typical sections or provided on the plans for station, square yard, and cubic yard in the original position measurement. This price is full compensation for furnishing and disposing of materials, belading, brooming, scarifying, salvaging, replacing, stockpiling, reshaping, refinishing, compacting, finishing, curing, and equipment, labor, tools, and incidentals. Furnishing and delivering new base will be paid for in accordance with Section 247.6.2, Flexible Base, Roadway Delivery, DOT. Mixing, spreading, belading, shaping, compacting, and finishing new or existing base material will not be paid for directly but will be subsidiary to this item. Sprinkling and rolling, except proof rolling, will not be paid for directly but will be subsidiary to this item, unless otherwise shown on the plans. When proof rolling is shown on the plans or directed by the engineer, it will be paid for in accordance with item 216, proof rolling. Where subgrade is constructed under this contract, correction of soft spots in the subgrade or existing base will be at the contractor's expense. Where subgrade is not constructed under this contract, correction of soft spots in the subgrade or existing base will be in accordance with pertinent items or Article 4.4, changes in the work. Removal of existing asphalt concrete pavement will be paid for in accordance with pertinent items or Article 4.4, changes in the work. Additional restrictions for measurement and payment are as follows. Type A work will be restricted to station and square yard measurement. Type B work will be restricted to station, square yard, and cubic yard in the original position measurement. Type C work will be restricted to station, square yard, and cubic yard in the original position measurement. Type D work will be restricted to station and square yard measurement.